Recently, though, Cindy chose to leave the corporate world and take on a senior director of philanthropy role at the Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center in Ottawa. A move actually that was fueled by a desire to give back to Ontario's youth and their families struggling with substance use and mental health issues. But Cindy is also a very busy woman at home. She's a proud mother of 3 young men, Hunter, Keegan, and Carson. Cindy is a huge supporter of the Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center, as she credits the center and the program for saving her son's life. So we're going to hear more about this from Cindy. And what I didn't realize, we were just talking about this earlier, is that the center is not just for people who live in Ottawa. It's actually, the services are available for families throughout Ontario. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. All of Ontario.
All yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. I was, anticipating this and getting to know more people in your area, and the connection we have has been great. So as you heard, I'm a huge advocate for youth and families struggling with mental health and addiction. I'm a fierce advocate. I'm a mama bear of 3 amazing men that you heard. And I'm a spreader of hope, that so many families need while navigating this. And I joke that I'm an evangelist for eradicating shame and guilt that so unnecessarily comes with addiction and mental health issues. So, a little bit about Dave Smith before I tell you my story with my son. Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center has been in existence since 1993. We've been servicing Ontario youth. Sorry? Okay. Since 1993, we service youth aged 13 to 21. We're scattered right now across 3 separate campuses. So there's a boys center in Carleton Place, the girls are in Carp, and then our aftercare program is in Stittsville. So when you come to our program, you get 3 months of live-in treatment, 3 months of aftercare, as well as full psychiatric support, nurse practitioner. Education is a big part of our program. So our youth are back in school wherever they left off. Our teacher collaborates with their school to get them back up to speed because we want to build back their self-esteem. With that, there's family supports, and as most people are not aware, we're fully funded by the ministry, so it's free for a youth to come to us. It costs them virtually nothing. We ask usually for a small monetary fee just for incidentals and stuff, but at the end of the day, if a youth can't afford it, we're not going to turn them away. So every youth has free care to us, and I can't say enough about what this center has done. I'm so passionate because, again, like you heard, this center saved my son's life. I'm proof that it can happen to anybody, and so many of our families are facing mental health and addiction issues with our youth nowadays, especially, going through this past pandemic and still navigating through it. We're starting to see the after effects. And we say that there's going to be a second, a wave, and it's going to be a mental health wave. We're already seeing it. So a bit about my son and my story. My son his name is Hunter. He's a beautiful young man who, at the age of 16, he was an honor roll student. He was, funny, a rule abiding, he was just such a good all around kid, and he was an athlete. He played competitive hockey. He suffered a life-changing concussion in grade 10, and it ended his hockey career. I knew he wasn't going to the NHL, but I would never tell him that. But I didn't realize how much my son self-identified through hockey. And when he got that concussion, we got him all the help that we thought he needed. So he had a concussion specialist. He had, physiotherapy. He was in a darkened room because that was the protocol at the time. He missed school. We thought we were doing everything right. We eased him back into school only for him to be told, you not only have lost hockey, now you've also lost any contact sport. And you've also lost the ability to try and go into university, because they had said at that time he needed to drop down to college stream courses because the brain injury was just so bad. So, you know, he was suffering with a lot of mental health issues. On top of that, at the same time, not telling us that he was being bullied, you know, because his set of friends had changed. A lot of things had changed for him. And, you know, I guess he just didn't want to talk about it, you know, and as a parent, I look back now, and I knew there was something wrong with my son. And my gut, my instinct was always telling me that there was more. And every doctor that I went to, therapist or GP, told me it was normal teenage behavior. And you know, I kind of went along with them for a little while. And, you know, it was his first day of school in his graduation year that I knew we had a really rough summer. And I finally had said, I got to start listening to my gut. He had missed curfew, a lot of different things that normally totally out of character for my son were happening. And so I stayed back from going to Toronto on a business trip, and I surprised him at the front door and asked him how he was doing and how his first day of school was. And he looked up at me and he had a white crusting under his nose. And I said, we have a bigger problem, don't we? And he's, Mom, I'm addicted to cocaine. And instantly it was panic, fear, worry, shame, everything, you know, all rolled up into one. And I was, where do we go? How do we get him help? What do we do? I was, you know, parents always ask me what it's like to have a youth addicted to drugs. And the only way I can sum it up is, do you remember that time? And I know it's happened to most people, most parents, when you have little ones and you're in a grocery store and they go missing, or, you know, at the Target and they go in behind the clothing and hide on you, and you instantly feel panic and worry and you feel sick to your stomach, you want to find them. What if I told you had all those same feelings of panic, worry, sickness, fear, and they're standing right in front of you? You can touch them, but you can't reach them. That's what it's like to have a child addicted to drugs. Sorry, I still get emotional. The boy that you raised is gone. He's a shell of a human, and the drug has taken over. And that's what happened to my son. You know, so instantly shame and guilt took over for me, and depression. I thought I must be a bad mother. Why did he choose drugs? And, you know, we sat in silence for quite a while as a family, not knowing what to do. Hunter felt very shameful for all the things that he had done to, you know, to withstand his use, because he was a functioning user until he couldn't function anymore. And when I asked the psychiatrist at one point, I said, I don't understand, you know, why would he be addicted? And she said, Cindy, your son's not chasing a high from the brain injury. Your son is chasing normalcy. And when she put it to me like that, it was like, oh my goodness. And I see that every day now in our treatment facility. These kids are chasing normalcy. 99% of the kids coming to our treatment facility have mental health issues that have not been addressed. They're self-medicating for a reason. My son was self-medicating for a reason, you know, so instantly as a family, we finally decided to drop the shame, you know, and that's what we've coined our golf tournament. My son and I created a golf tournament 4 years ago, and we call it Drop the Shame, Get in the Game. And it's all about talking about mental health and talking about addiction, and that it's not a moral failing. It's no different than having cancer. It's no different than having a broken bone, and you should be treated the same, you know? So once we dropped the shame, this beautiful village of people came out to help us. And I'll never forget, as I started, the more people I talked to, the more people I got help from, you know, I was able to access a psychiatrist through a friend and so forth. So the power of talking to other women, and it was primarily other women, they became this supportive network for me. And there was men in there too, but at the end of the day, it just, this village came out and surrounded my son and I, and I was a single mom at the time with all three of them. And lo and behold, you know, we were searching for help and hope, and we found it at the Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center. You know, they gave me my son back. They took a near, I truly believe that he wouldn't be here with me had we not found them. Like he was on a one-way path of destruction because the shame and guilt it consumed him. He was trying to overdose. You know, while in treatment, they made it possible for him to believe that he could do anything. And he achieved all 7 university stream credits while in treatment. He got accepted to 4 universities while in treatment. You know, they gave him the confidence to bounce back and to bounce back from relapse, which I could say that has been the most devastating thing as a parent, is watching relapse. But it's part of the process, and they get stronger every time, and you just hope that they stay safe if they relapse. And you know, I am happy to say that this Sunday we've just celebrated 4 years of sobriety. You know, it's a big milestone for us, and I'm so proud of him. He just bought himself his first condo, and you know, I'm a bubbling mama bear here right now. But so, you know, the best way that I knew how to give back was, my job in media just didn't mean anything to me anymore. I needed to give back to the center that saved my son. I needed to get this new center built so we could have more beds, that we could lessen wait times, and to have a bigger voice. Like I didn't have that story of hope going through this. I couldn't find another family member who would talk about addiction and mental health and how their kid got through it. I needed that glimmer of hope. I found it for Hunter. You know, I found a young man who'd gone through it, went through the program. And that was peer support is so huge. And that's why I peer support now for our Ottawa police. I want other families to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a rough road. I tell you, it's the roughest road to support a child with mental health issues and addiction. But it's the reward at the end is so great. And yeah, so that's why I decided to come build the center and help our youth. This year's been a tough year with COVID, so we're really, you know, ramping things up. We are in the process of trying to bring all 3 scattered campuses together and build a multi-complex. So that's where I'm at. That's my story. But I think the biggest thing that I wanted to leave with all you beautiful women is to listen to your gut. You know, if I've learned anything, I go with my gut. I even go with it every day now when I'm advocating government or anything. I'm like, and it's appreciated. Honesty and going with what you feel is important, because if you're feeling it, the likelihood other people around you are feeling it. You are your kid's biggest advocate. You are their biggest voice. In our healthcare system, you have to advocate for our children. And if you got to cry in front of people or get loud, I always do it with respect. But, you know, at the end of the day, we are their biggest advocate, and they need our help. And there's no shame in being a parent. We're all learning. You know, Hunter's my eldest, and that's why I always say I'm always learning through you. And, you know, and then the final thing is you have to take care of your own mental health while you're navigating this, because it brought me to my knees as a parent. I didn't know that there's some days I could even get through it. But, you know, I've really taken good care of my mental health, and I've become a yoga instructor, and it's really served me well. So if I leave you with those 4 tidbits, I think that's, you know, I've done my job. And if you can spread the word of what we do, if we can help, if I'm just helping one more youth from this call, I'm a happy girl. So thank you so much for having the platform to talk to you.
Oh my goodness. Cindy, I can't, boy, I get emotional too. So you're amazing. And thanks for sharing that incredible story and all the truth that you've spoken. It is remarkable. And, you know, as our organization, we do have a voice after 10 years that we're doing this now, that we will do everything we can in our power to help your initiatives, because it is absolutely crucial and important. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and sharing that with us. And I'm sure Josie wants to, any questions? If there are any questions at all, by all means, open up your mics and Cindy, any questions that you may have. I think everybody's just blown away.
We're all just
yeah,
emotional. But you know what? I'm just so happy to hear that there was a village that came out to you. The minute they found out you were hurting, that you were surrounded by very good people that made the difference, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And the
So
power of
just-
connection of other people going through it, right? Who, you know, it might
Yeah.
not have been a youth, but it could have been a brother or sister or, you know, yeah.
Yeah. It just goes to
mean-
show how important it is to be open and not feel the shame, as you say. And it's amazing that your son has taken this pain and it's created this wonderful event with you. I love the
love it.
name. I
Yes.
mean, it just creates hope, right? And more awareness for people all over. I think for us, for Gabby and I really want to let people know, at least in our region, that this is available to them. Because, you know, as a parent, seeing people struggle. And I also find it interesting how the doctors you saw basically said to you, oh, this is normal teenage behavior. And I remember hearing a lot of that too from various parents that are going through difficult things in their lives with their children. And it just goes to tell me there isn't enough expertise yet. So that's very good advice that you gave. Listen to your gut as a parent. If something doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right, listen to your instincts, you know.
I
Hi,
really,
sorry. Oh,
hi, go ahead,
Hi.
please. Hi, Julia.
hi, I'm Julia. So I run the St. Louis Bar and Grills here in Kingston, but just a little bit of my background is I've always had a passion for mental health, addictions, trauma, depression, things like that. So I'm actually kind of backing up a bit from my businesses, and I'm actually going to be taking counseling online starting in March. So I just want to say I want to learn so much more about this center, and I'm just really wondering how to get involved. Like, are you guys looking for volunteers? Are you, I'm just very passionate about this kind, as we all are. And any way, I mean, I'm a young entrepreneur here in Kingston, and any way that I can, you know, help or maybe I can send you my email, or maybe we can connect after this. I'm blown away by your story. And I'm doing volunteering with Big Brothers Big Sisters right now. And actually my little's 16-year-old that has some kind of similar issues that have been kind of going on in her life. So I don't know, I would love to be involved more. And
Absolutely. I put my email. Oh no, I didn't put my email. I'll put my email
Right.
in.
Yes, please do. Yeah, put your email
Okay.
there. I know. Yeah. And
I'll
I
Thank
put my
you.
email for sure.
you.
thank you,
Um,
Julia. Thank
yeah, no
you.
worries.
Michelle did a great comment here. She said, it's sad how Hollywood continues to portray cocaine in films and drugs and all the stuff that we see in movies as cool and acceptable in the party scene. Surprising how many youth have actually tried it. And that's so true. I do look at all, you know, all of that you see on TV. That certainly doesn't help. Social media, all that stuff. It all is another wall to fight against, right? So
Yeah,
good
and the way I
comment,
fought
Michelle.
against that wall, and yeah, really good one, Michelle. I'm with Hunter. He had that kind of mentality, and they do when they're young. They're invincible, right? And I had at one point, you know, I was exhausting all measures trying to get him to want help, and I took him to our GP, and I just said to her, I said, I want you to run blood tests on him and tell him everything that's in his system. So she got the blood work done and printed out a sheet. And it was a page long of all these chemicals, and it highlighted fentanyl, and it highlighted, you know, and it was in low doses, like, cause he's here, but, and that was, she highlighted the ones that could kill him. And we sat down with him and we showed him. And it was that document on top of, I found a document of, I went through a parent program of a brain on drugs, especially a youth brain, and how it shuts down and it goes dark. And a healthy brain where it's nice and lit up. And I showed him what his brain looked like, and I showed him what it should look like. And I said, there's hope, Hunter, because if you stop, it will rejuvenate itself back. But the more use, it's going to be harder, you know? So it was a lot of like dropping little tidbits like that to try and to get him to want help. Plus I changed my whole communication style. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the communication style I changed to. But I got training on it, and it was just, you know, emotion coaching. That's what it was. I did a lot of emotion coaching with him to get him the help that he needed. You know, I wish parents could take this parent program from before you have kids. you know, because it's so helped me with my other two children, and my youngest is autistic, so it's helped even more with him because his communication style is completely different. So, yeah.
Wow. Did you call that emotion coaching? Is that how I heard that correctly?
Yeah, emotion coaching, yeah.
And is that something that your center provides as well, or
You would get it through our family therapist. Yeah, they'll teach that. There's also I did it through our Rita Wood program. They have a parent program.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's interesting.
Really important.
Any information that you would like to share with us on this subject that we can help expand on to our network, please do that, Cindy. We're there to help you. We find this really important.
I'll send you our pamphlet via PDF, and there's other but Julia, definitely reach out. Anybody reach out. And like I said, I peer support. You have a family member going through it that, you know, needs to navigate it, please reach out. I don't mind peer supporting people. Like, I want them to have that hope that I didn't have. And, you know, even some cases, my son has peer supported kids that are really hesitant about going into treatment. He'll text them or call them and just kind of, I'm like, he doesn't do it too often. Like, he's really gotten pretty private about his story now because he's moved on, which is fair. But he's like, Mom, I won't turn a youth away to let them know what it's like, you know? So he'll even do that to reassure it's not a bad place. Like, yeah, at home, but it changed his life. It saved his life, right? So
yeah.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions, Michelle, anybody that's online that you would like to ask? And before we close this important message, and we will be sending this through to the board for sure, to the key people we know, because I think it's a very important message and a helpful message for sure. We'll be doing that. So thank you again, Cindy, for your your involvement and sharing with us during your very busy time that you have. And just to let everyone know that our next November presentation will be November 16th, and that'll be at 4:30 because we're bringing in a lady from Manhattan, New York to tell her story. She's in the called Centerprise, and what she's actually doing right now, she uses her expertise in the perfume world. She created perfumes for celebrities and all the stuff for many years, and now she's helping COVID patients getting their sense of smell back. And yeah, it's quite a story, and we're happy to have her on to join us from Manhattan, which is kind of fun. And and that'll be November 16th. But that's all on our events section on womenmeanbusiness.ca. It'll be there for register, and we'll be sending out a blast anyways to remind people. So, but thank you again, Cindy, for your authenticity of your story. It is remarkable, and congratulations to you for all that you went through, and to your son, and all the best to you and your family. And we will do everything we can to help you with your endeavors for sure. Positive support.
Thank you.
And thank you for those who have joined us this morning, and we'll make sure it gets onto our Women Mean Business YouTube channel as well. Thank you, Cindy. Have a great week. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. Julia, thank you.
Thank you.
Soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.